Welcome to your update presented by Uptake. I'm Tony Mulvey, joined by Thomas Wilson. Thomas, going to start here. Kind of this first theme of this carrier update is going to be looking at the different modes, right? The first one here, obviously the largest mode, dry van. We've got dry van volumes and rejection. Rejection rates kind of found a little stabilization, but this is, I mean, they're at the lowest levels that they've been. I mean, they're lower than where they were in 2019.
Exactly. This is year over year. This was this time last year. Look at the difference that we're looking at here. Upwards of 20 to 22% rejection rates. Tender volumes are healthy, hovering around, coming up on, 12,000 approaching by the beginning of 2022. Such an interesting factor because we like to talk about rejections and volumes that go hand in hand. And the first one with van, I wanted to look at reefer as well. We'll kick to the next chart real quick just to illustrate this trend. The same situation with reefer. Same time last year, extremely healthy, 40% rejection rates, trying to close 2250 on the index. So obviously we know reefer is a smaller segment of the market, but look at this. Even though we see volumes trickling upwards, there was so much extra capacity, we're around, close to 7%.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, obviously, contract rate, increased compliance with healthy contract rates whereas the spot market, and a lot of that has to do with fuel surcharge tables, especially given how high diesel fuel has been, right? And whereas spot rates have obviously come down in both modes, right? Van and reefer, and they're all in rates, right? So there is a little more incentive, I guess, to stay under contract, which is why you see a rejection rate. But I think what's the concerning part is how low they got. We're talking, 6.6%? If you look back at 2019, right, that's the talk of the town. That is the focus. We're not going back to 2019. We're not going back to 2019. Well, reefer rejections in 2019 were 10%. So, we're already well below that, right? So I think that's the concern I have as we move, now almost a full month through the fourth quarter.
Exactly. Concern for reefer carriers, great for shippers. Final chart, though, turns out I wanted to look at flatbed rejections, but just to illustrate, Institute of Supply Chain Management, the manufacturing new orders. We see a lot about, as we see the increased industrial activity and manufacturing, we also see an increase in rejection. It's getting close to 65, approaching 70% by the early part of 2022 on rejection levels. It's fascinating to see just how far they have gone. Oh, the rejection rates are on the left. So just kidding, 40%. And we'd be in a bad day if every flatbed, 70% of the flatbeds, I'd wonder kind of where they went at that point.
Yeah, that would be quite worrisome. But still, they hit almost 50% back in March, and now they're down to 13. That's a big decline, even though the market is relatively small.
Exactly. And with ISM, just for those folks who don't know, if it's 50 and above, you're going up. If it's 50 and below, you're going down. So just as we saw the expansions in the 65 range on the ISM, so too can we predict via flatbed rejection rates.
Absolutely. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for this update. We'll be sure to check in with you again later in the show. Right now, we'll toss it over to Sydney Edwards.